We've arrived at Drytown, founded in 1848, oldest township, first in which gold was discovered in Amador County. Its memorable town hall and other picturesque structures remain, and the town was not dry as the name implies. There's actually ponds and a creek that runs through town. It contained 26 saloons during its heyday. 200 people, elevation 600. 200 people, elevation 620 feet. Very nice, very nice. Folks, this is the old fire hall, I believe. According to my directions, it used to sit on the corner and they turned it into an antique shop. They said in my paperwork, there's an antique shop. And there's also a wall with a bell. Maybe that's a fire bell, not in the cemetery. I don't know. See how the fire bell's at the corner? This is where the firehouse would be. So I'm thinking that that bell of the cemetery, well, it may have been the old fire bell. There may have been a couple fire bells. It could be the school bell, and that could be the fire bell. But I'm going to park up here real quick, get a couple pictures of the old equipment. It goes with the Drytown update. When we go across the street, I'll walk around. But here it's just, there's nothing to really walk around at. There's only like one or two historic structures. All of them are across the street at the old hotel. And there's a saloon and an old mining office. Yeah, it'd be a double garage. So this would definitely be the fire hall. They'd have the bell hanging on top. Some old equipment here. Oh yeah, some old mining equipment. Ore cart. Ox wagon. To load the ore out here, you'd have to have sturdy cogs and axes. Some kind of tank maybe for fighting fires. It wouldn't hold very much now, would it? Antiques and collectibles in the old firehouse. This is the old firehouse right here. I could tell by the shape. They'd put one engine in and then the double doors in the front, or the garage doors, and then the bell would hang. Oh, it's remodeled. I mean, they fixed it up. And then, folks, we have a bell here. It's probably the fire bell. Like I said, the other bell could have been used as a fire bell as well. I mean, they had fires throughout the years in this town. But this is history, and, you know, at Drytown, we have to stop at these places and photograph them. A lot of old buildings. San Francisco, California. It was made in 1889. This is a much older fire bell than the one in the cemetery, I'm thinking. The other bell's smaller. It says, here it is. This bell is dedicated in memory of the Methodist Sunday School children of Drytown. This bell was purchased in 1890. It was restored and erected at the present site through contributions from former and present Drytown citizens, 1955. So this was a church bell. And the fire bell's in the cemetery, as I thought. But I had to make sure. You know, what used to be saloons today is now antique shops. That's, see, antiques. Antiques. Antiques at the old fire shop. Look. Antiques. They're all antique shops. All of them. No less is still pretty cool. You know, and there are other remnants of the town, like limestone stairs or quartz walls. This wall's made out of quartz right here. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. There's fascinating structures. This one looks like it's stucco. Pretty cool. This probably was the old fire engine tank. 400-gallon tank. So, do you see the history? Everything's connected here. Yeah, this is about 400-gallon tank. This is what the theater company had purchased. I believe that was the theater. Maybe it was up the road, and then maybe it's near the school. I'm gonna have to look. I mean, there was multiple structures that burned down at the. Put it on my website when we get all our research finished. But they purchased the truck and then the 400-gallon tank. And this would be used for water storage, and you could bring it to the site of the fire and put out the fire at a miner's cabin. We're at the old school. I was wrong. I said it was built in the 1850s. The original schoolhouse that was built in the 1850s no longer is here. Or stands, I should say. However, in 1871, one was built in this place. You can see the small school bell. And then it says 1955. So basically what it's trying to say is on this site 2 schools were built. One in 1871, 1955, and the original school in the 1950s. I don't know. It probably was closer to downtown. This is probably about 500 feet from downtown, as opposed to all the other historic structures in the cemetery are really close to the intersection, but the school's a little further down the road. You know, these sites could be haunted. When you think about it, I mean, fire, tragedy, death, illness, you might get a ghost that's looking at you out the window. So we always got to take pics, EMF, and EVPs, and see what we can produce to build a case on our site. A paranormal case. Otherwise, it just goes straight to the Urbex files, which is urban exploring and historical preservation. But if we get a little bit more, we could say, hey, this is what we caught here, and other people could kind of follow up with it and see if they get the same results. Looks like they have a little barbecue house, benches for all the kids. Whoa! Something just fell out of the tree on me, man. Or something don't want me here. I just got a little... Oh, I think it's abandoned. Oh, that sucks. A nice little schoolhouse. It is abandoned. I thought they went to school here. I was wrong. Had a little ball attached to that pole. They probably play a game. But I was real extensive with Drytown in New Chicago. We just gave you 2 mining camps and ghost towns back to back today. And so I'm really proud of it. Proud of the work we've done. The research, the hiking, the exploration. We've really outdone ourselves today. And I'll tell you what, we don't expect anything in return. We just want you to enjoy our videos, enjoy our pictures, our work, and continue to elaborate off the research and collaborate with us so we can help preserve these places, but also educate people out west here, children out west here, about these boom towns, because a lot of their ancestors derive from these towns. A lot of these cities derive from these smaller towns. For example, Jackson sprang up and grew when Drytown really ran dry. Everybody went to Jackson. That led to growth in Jackson. So you have to understand, one hand helps another. Wild West is a place of tragedy, but it's also a place of history, mystery, and so much more. It's where the flagpole was. Oh, those are cameras. Those are lights. Cameras. This place is abandoned. I'd love to explore it. There's windows missing and all, but they're too high up. I'd be like climbing in face first, you know. Here we go. This school was built in 1871 and it operated till 1955. Earlier I was talking about how there may have been 2 schools on the site because, you know, schools burnt out or they were rebuilt stronger and better. They may have started off as a tent school, then a wood school, and eventually a brick school over time. This school still stands from 1871. It's an old building. But there was a school in 1852 that was built, and I'm pretty sure it was closer to downtown, while this one's on further on the outskirts. If you continue down this road, you'll head to New Chicago. So it's kind of, you know, another mile, you'll be starting to hit New Chicago. So really there was no separation between the 2 mining camps and towns. And New Chicago kind of depended on Drytown, while Drytown, you know, may have milled some of the gold that was brought out of the mines in New Chicago until better stamp mills could be built. Cozy and cute, the way I like it. But no longer schools in session. So we're going to take you up to near the well site. Supposedly, I don't know if it no longer exists. They may have rebuilt a replica. But supposedly, Mexican bandits slaughtered 6 European American women and men at this very site. Holy shit, dude. That is the well. Don't hang my recorder over.
Yeah.
This may be the old well. It does go deep. They have a cage over it, or a metal grate. These are old saloons, man. And businesses back in the day from the 1800s. Old Well Cafe. See the well? And you have buildings like the Drytown Club and it says right here, folks, it's an antique shop now, but it may have been at one time the mining office for the major mine. Drytown, rich placer mining in 1850s. The origin of town's name, lack of water in the nearby creek to wash gold. See, placer gold had to be brought out by rushing water of the creek. And when the creek ran dry, so did the gold. Anyhow, it says many Chinese laborers in fields. It says lack of water in nearby creek to wash gold. Many Chinese laborers in fields and mines. East Gateway to New Chicago, New Philadelphia, Amador City, Quartz Mines, Fremont Cover and Treasure, Bunker Hill, seat of the Rancheria Massacre. The massacre happened, see the Rancheria Massacre? Right at that well site. 6 people were killed by Mexican bandits, slaughtered in the streets.
Wow.
And so this is supposed to be the old mining office. See the heavy doors? The reason why they had heavy doors, they stole gold bullion in bars here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And they had a post office here. I believe this was it, but they used the post office in place of the general store. You know, it was a general store, there was a post office. It's very pretty. And they had a theater here and stores, but it's one of the oldest ghost towns in Amador County. And everything is left as it was. A lot of the structures burned, but they're still some 150 years old, like this one, possibly. I mean, you can tell by the architecture. They don't make anything like this anymore. Used to be a saloon, dude. Be like shootouts. A man would fall off the top of the balcony. Yeah, look, I think this might be the old theater. But they did a lot of placer gold mining on and off. And of course the creek, when the drought occurred, there was no gold. Last final structures, only a few structures downtown remain, about 5 or 6 that are left standing. I listed them earlier a little bit. About 1959 to about 1994, the Clay Pipers ran the theater here. I think it was sold, but they ran comical shows. And of course, 1857 in this town was a bad year. The town almost entirely burnt down. That's when things began to taper off. But you know, these towns at one time were home to anywhere from 100 to sometimes as many as 10,000 residents. Although it only lasted a short time. Most people were only temporary residents. And when the money wasn't there, they simply moved on. But it's almost nightfall, so we're going to head home. Just walking down that lonely road. Finish up Drytown. The creek is right up here. It says Drytown Creek. Of course, it's probably dry. And I can't stop on the highway. There's a historic home, too, I'm going to pull off and take a picture of. It's kind of a Victorian mansion. I've heard some stuff about that as well. And this is downtown. Where's that at? Lady told us about the old jail that's back here. It's worth checking out. I did not know they had a jailhouse back here. Of course, then again, it's not too often I get permission to do any of this. Oh, there it is, right there. This is too cool, dude. This is on a major road. Still some stone walls. Drytown's more extensive than you think, but you got to get out, folks. You got to urban explore. It's a lot to see and do here. But again, you got to get out and you got to explore. Wow. This town also had a jailhouse. The lady sent us here, and this is the jailhouse. It's full with a bunch of garbage and debris. No less it is the jailhouse. The cells were not very accommodated. Probably got very cold in the winter here. Steel doors. You can see the steel doors. Thick steel doors. I mean, it's a beautiful little town. I mean, there's a lot to see and do if you're willing to look. We find things in ghost towns most people don't get to see. That's because we decide to walk down that extra road or behind one of the abandoned houses. Where are you, dude? I am. I'm looking. A spider was on me, dude. So this is the jail, folks. We're going to go across this. Jared and I are going to come up here, and then I want to get a picture of the front of the old building. So we're going to go on the back side and just kind of show you some of the old buildings downtown. But we are downtown here, and you know, I've enjoyed myself thoroughly. Actually, I'm not going to cut across anyone's backyard. We'll just go down here and get a picture for the front. But these are these are kind of old miner cabins or business establishments. You know, they had them behind one another. Space was tight. The creek runs right there behind that fence. Dry Creek. I don't hear it flowing. It's probably dry. There's a lot of drought. Nice little tree house. Oh yeah, pretty cool, huh? Old wagons.
See the sled?
Uh-huh.
You know that sled, the wood?
Oh yeah.
Skater one.
Yeah. This town had it all. School, post office, theater. Mainly saloons. And it was a rowdy little town. It really was. And this is probably the mining office, and it did have a basement. And so did the Clay Pipers in the theater. They also had one. Yeah, a little basement. We're just about out of here. Right before sunset and a full moon over Dry Creek. Jared and I are going to cross the street over here. We got to be careful. We're going to get some pictures across the road, and then we're done. Let's go. Run. Pretty cool. So we're just about to wrap up our expedition here. It's pretty creepy, huh?
Yeah, it is.
I'm guessing nobody lives here, but then I see there's lights inside. Look, early day butcher shop, one of Amador County's oldest buildings. Marble floors hauled in by mule team from Fiddletown Quarry. I was reading that, March 1969. Does this look like a butcher shop or like some haunted hospital entrance with the arches?
Yeah, a haunted hospital.
Fiddletown, we're going to do Fiddletown. I brought you there when you were little.
Yeah.
It's a couple miles from here, but we're coming back in a few months. They have this huge abandoned, it's like some mill or train station, but I was in it.
Yeah.
It has these big beams, and you have to climb up to the floor. It's like this high. It stands to my chin, and you got to pull yourself up. It's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
This is the old butcher shop, though. There's only these buildings are the oldest. You gotta run, folks, or this street will kill you. This is the highway that runs through Drytown. But we're heading out of here. We're done. I'm gonna photograph this old mansion that's around the corner. But that's it. We're done. It's been a lot of nature today. A lot of pretty flowers. They are dying. Like I said, there's drought-stricken area. But there's still a pond in town. As long as that remains lush, there is still hope for this once booming mining community. This is your founder, Lord Rick, bringing you a paranormal investigation and a historical preservation project in Drytown, California. Peace. Supposedly, folks, this is one of the oldest, most intact, beautiful estates or homes in Drytown. We're leaving. I just wanted to show you it. Someone told me about this place. I thought I'd photograph and videotape it. Please respect your privacy. This is Lord. Sundown, just outside of Drytown. We're going home. It's a full moon tonight. It turned out to be a beautiful day. It was raining and foggy through the Sierras, and now it's cleared up. And it actually got in the 80s today. And what I learned today, well, what I've always learned is that you got to be really persistent and adamant and leave no stone unturned. And we finish off the day at the Massacre well and found an old jail cell behind some of the old businesses and saloons. And so it was really historic and a very interesting experience. I can't say I experienced ghosts, but you know, we took a lot of EVPs today, and hopefully we get something we can build off that, and other people can collaborate their stories as well. Beautiful sunset here at Gold Country. I couldn't ask for a better Father's Day weekend. This is Lord Rick. Check us out. Check out our site. We appreciate all your support. www.paranormalghostsociety.org. And we thank you for watching our YouTube. And we hope that in the future that you'll continue to do so and continue to learn about our urban explorations, projects, and paranormal journeys. Peace out.